Before the Empire had tanks, before trebuchets spat fire, there was a metal that tasted like fear. Before banners, before emperors, came the soldier with the short blade in his fist. A man taught to be a machine, and a machine taught to kill. Look at his hands, not the hands of a hero, but the hands that pried shields, drove spears between ribs, and put out the light in another man's eyes. He is called by many names: Legionary, Miles, the man who marched with Rome. In paintings, he gleams. In songs, he brings law. But there is another face to that image, the one you see when the smoke clears and the bodies settle into the mud. That face is not about glory. It is about tools. Cold, efficient, designed to end not just lives, but hope. This is the story of those tools, the Gladius that did not cut, but stabbed the hope from an enemy's chest, the Pylum that hung from shields like ugly pendulums, the Scutum that became a battering wall, the little iron caltrop that turned a horse's gallop into an orgy of broken limbs. These weapons are not mere steel and wood. They are the architecture of terror, the psychology of victory. They were forged in sweat and tested in screams. We will follow a single legionary through the arc of his life, from training ground to battlefield, through the hands of the blacksmith who shaped his fate, into the enemy's eyes as he pulls the sword free and finds nothing but darkness. Along the way, we will meet generals who wrote tactics in blood, smiths who tempered cruelty into steel, and enemies who learned to fear the shape and sound of Rome. Imagine you are Marcus, age 19, a recruit pressed into service after the harvest failed. You stand in the early fog of dawn, wooden sword heavy in your grip. Around you, older men shout corrections. Point, Marcus, straight, don't slash, you thrust. Marcus learns to breathe with the Gladius. He learns the rhythm: step, brace the Scutum, drive. The Gladius is not for spectacle. It is for the body next to yours. It is for the place the heavy armor leaves open, the lane beneath the ribs, the soft valley between throat and collarbone. It is designed for the press, the shove, the close quarters misery of men clung to each other like drowning sailors. Origin. The Gladius was born from necessity. In the narrow lanes of Italic warfare and later in the tight ranks of the Republic's expanding frontiers, long sweeping cuts were useless. Rome needed a weapon that worked where soldiers could not swing, the narrow gauntlet of a shield wall. So, the blade shortens. The point becomes long, the edge serviceable, but secondary. The broad leaf of the blade allowed the point to penetrate with terrible efficiency. Forging. Lucius, the smith, sets the steel into the fire. He leans over, feeling the heat on his face, tasting the coal smoke. Hands black, he hammers rhythmically. Heat, hammer, quench. The Gladius takes shape, balanced, heavy enough to thrust without bending, sharp enough to pierce leather and flesh. He polishes the fuller until the light skips off the blade like a swimmer off a reef. He sticks the hilt, wraps the grip in leather, fits the scabbard. He is making a tool, but also the means by which men will be broken. Battlefield. At the mouth of a valley, two armies meet. The barbarian line bellows, axes raised. The legionaries tighten their columns until wood becomes wall. The centurion's vine staff cracks as a signal. Pylums fly, shields ring, and then the hush. Marcus steps forward, Scutum already planted. Close enough to taste the enemy's sweat, he lunges. The Gladius slips between plates, kisses the lung, reaches for the liver. The man staggers, blood threads the air like torn tapestry. He does not fall instantly. He falls in time, to make others watch, to make them hesitate. That hesitation is Rome's weapon too.